Hey guys, and welcome back to Sewing from Scratch. Okay, today I am going to show you about the Around the Block hoodie from ellieandmac.com. I'm going to show you how to hack it into a nursing sweater. I just want to say quickly, this is in collaboration with Ellie and Mac Patterns. So thank you, Lindsay, for helping out with this post. She's giving my viewers a discount, so I will leave that in the description box. Go ahead and check that out. And if you haven't already and you're brand new here, please hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any videos. First thing you're going to want to do is take your measurements and figure out what size you want. Once you have that done, you can go ahead and get some tracing paper, and you're going to want a thin Sharpie. Alright, so now you're just gonna trace all the pattern pieces like you normally would, and definitely make sure that you're transferring any relevant markings onto your new pattern pieces, just like you would any other. You traced out all your pattern and you cut out all the pieces, you're going to take a selection of them and we're going to have to modify them. So as it sits right now, you have the entire pattern ready for a regular Around the Block hoodie in whatever size you created. So you want to keep the original pattern intact. This is the way I like to do it. This is the way I recommend doing it. Now you're going to take a selection of the pieces. So you're going to need the middle piece. This is one that's going to lift up and show the goods. So that's the one we're gonna start with. The second most important one is the bottom piece. The bottom piece, because it's going to extend up, and we're gonna attach an elastic to it so that it sits under your bust and holds everything up. And now, because we're gonna be adjusting the top piece to make it a little bit longer, we also need to adjust the sleeves. So you're gonna have sleeve A and sleeve B middles. We're gonna make those longer to match what we do on the middle bodice piece. And then you also want sleeve A and sleeve B bottoms, because we actually have to make those smaller now to accommodate for the longer sleeve on the longer piece in the middle of the sleeve, because we want them to line up. If you look at some pictures, you'll see that the bodice stripe matches up with the arm stripe. So we do need to adjust those. What you need to do first is you need to take these pieces and you need to, again, trace them out onto your tracing paper. So you're going to take one piece at a time. The middle piece, we are going to extend down. So have it right the top side up, and we're going to place it near the top of our tracing paper. Even if you have a small chest, you still need to adjust the bust, because we don't want it, when you reach up, you don't want it pulling up and then your bra showing. Go ahead and trace the first piece. So now we're going to measure down from your front middle piece. What you need to take into account now when you're coming down is the bottom of this piece is going to be hemmed. Now, I recommend using interfacing in the hem, and I like to use this fusible tape. The width of this tape is 3/4 of an inch. So I'm going to be putting that on the edge and then flipping it up. So I actually need to multiply by 2. So 3/4 times 2 is 1.5. But that's just the hem. If you just leave it like that, we're still going to be pretty short. To bring it down about 3 inches. Now, of course, it's going to depend on your bust, but that's where I like to bring it down for the average lady. So I'm going to use my quilting. Now when you're bringing it down, what you want to do is you want to grab your bottom piece, because this is what the shape of the top is supposed to look like. So we want to keep it there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide this underneath, and I'm going to line them up, And now I'm just going to trace around the bottom piece as well because we want the same shape. And then I'm going to use that, I'm going to come down that much and then just to keep the same shape all along. And you want to make a mark at your extension line, so 2 inches, and then from that line your hemline, so 1.5 inches from that line, because that first extension line is what you're going to use for the back piece. We're just going to fold it over when we cut. So for the back, you're going to want to extend just to this hemline. So now the bottom piece is, so let's trace it out once again. You're just going to extend, and this we're going to go straight up because it's just coming in at your waist. And it's important to know what size elastic you're using. So my elastic that I'm going to be using, about 1/2 inch, and we're going to just be sewing that right onto the edge and then folding it over once. So you need to allow 2 times this again. So you're gonna go 1/2 inch or whatever your elastic is times 2, mine is 1 inch. So I need to also extend 1 inch. So I'm actually gonna extend this piece 5 inches. And again, we're just going straight up. So if you wanna just use your regular tape, you make a mark at your 5-inch mark and then straight down. An easy way to do this is to measure off the very bottom to your mark, and then make the same measurement on the other side so that they're equal. Now for the back bottom piece, we're going to just use the original piece. We're not going to be cutting anything out of this or taping anything onto it, so we can just use the same one. So now you're going to take that same measurement you used to extend the middle piece, and we're going to adjust the bottom piece accordingly. Measuring down the same amount of extension because we actually want to make it smaller. So we're going to fold this piece over when we're cutting. Trace our fabric, we're just going to fold this over, and there it's just, now that's your nursing. And you should write on here too, this line, I'm going to put a little arrow and say nursing pack line. Okay, so now let's do the sleeves. So for the top pieces, you're going to be adding, so we added to our middle piece. And just keep the same straight line coming down. And you'll notice, so this was my A middle. If I take my A bottom, it lines up there. A bottom, I'm going to take this off the top. So we're just going to measure down, make a line, and then we'll fold it for our ahead and get our pieces put together. First thing we're gonna do is we're going to take so you're gonna take your hem tape, lay it on the edge about 1/8 of an inch away from the edge. And line it up there nice as best you can. And now we're gonna fold it over just once, right along that hem tape. And we're gonna iron it down. Press it down. I wanna talk a little bit about how we're gonna sew this. I am going to be using a double needle, and I will be doing a double needle tutorial. Once that's uploaded, I will post that in the description box below, so make sure you guys go and check that out if you're in. So you can definitely just use a single needle and either once or twice go over it to give it the look you want. Let's go sew. To do the elastic on the bottom bodice piece of the front. So remember, this is going to be what holds up the top under your back. The size guides that I'm going to give you are totally just a starting point. If you're making this for yourself, I recommend just taking a piece of elastic, stretching it across under your bust, and figuring out what you think is going to be good. When in doubt, make it a little bit longer because you can always take it in a bit. You definitely don't want it to be too tight that it's uncomfortable and then you have to rip a lot of stuff apart to fix it. If you're making this for somebody else, you can either measure them, or if they want to measure themselves, that's great. Otherwise, just kind of go with the guide that I have set out. So now we're going to attach it to our bottom bodice piece. And again, you want to make sure that you have this the right way, right side down. And we're going to take the elastic and you're either going to clip or pin it in place right on the very edge. If you want to leave a little bit at the end, that's fine. And then you're going to take it to the other end and pin it there. And now this is going to seem very, very stretched, but that's exactly what we want. We want it to be tight, so make sure that it can in fact stretch across the whole width, which should not be an issue. Then you're going to take the center of it, line it up with the center, approximately, just so you're not stretching so much at once when you go to sew it. Now I'm going to sew with my serge. Use a regular sewing machine. Just make sure you're using a zigzag stitch and you want it to be long and wide, and sew across. So then once I have it serged, I'm going to fold it over once. Then I'll sew it on here with a zigzag stitch afterwards. Once you have the elastic done on the bottom piece that's going to hold it up under your bust, it's time to actually put everything together, and this is the part that goes super fast. So what I like to do when I'm doing an around the block hoodie is I lay out all my pieces in the way that they need to be put. Again, all of this is going to be in the tutorial that came with your pattern, so I'm not actually going to go through the steps to sew it all together. I will show myself sewing it all together, but then you're gonna have to read through your tutorial and check out Ellie and Mac's videos and all that to kind of remember that the link to Ellie and Mac is in the description box below if you haven't already bought this pattern, or if you want to check out other ones. She puts out, I think it's like a pattern a week, guys. Like, she is crazy. I can't even keep up. She has some really awesome patterns on there, and I'll put a few of my favorite ones in the description box just to kind of give you guys some inspiration on that. So now that we have everything laid out, let's go ahead and sew it all together. So I'm going to do the back, and I'm going to do the 2 sleeves, and I'm going to do the hook, and then I will come back and do the front piece. shoulders are sewn together and my sleeves are on, it is time to do the front bottom bodice. You need your clips, you need your top, and you need your bottom bodice. And you're also gonna need your pockets, and mine are out at the table. So let's lay your top down. This is the back. I want the back laying down face up, and then I'm going to bring the front over top. Lining up the arm and the seams. So now I'm going to bring my elastic piece down, lining up the bottoms, and then I'm going to bring the elastic part over and pin it or clip it in place. And then you're going to do the same on the other side. You'll see it's just below the armpit there. And you're going to do the same over here. You don't need to stretch it, just kind of bring it over, put it in place. Then you're going to get your pockets in position. And for your pockets, if you find that your middle diagonal piece is coming into it, that's quite alright. You just fold it in and it kind of makes a unique little piece, or you can just omit that pocket or go ahead and reduce the size of your middle piece. Is you're just going to, once your pockets are sewn on, of course you want them flipped out. Now with your panel here, you're going to sew down the arm, the side, around your pocket, and down. Make sure you're getting all the pieces in there and make sure all the raw edges are attached. Finished product, guys. This is so cozy. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Definitely give this video a thumbs up and hit subscribe if you want to see more stuff like this. Let me know in the comments what you'd hope to see, and make sure you head on down to elliemac.com to get your copy of this pattern. I'll leave the link in the description box, as well as the link to the blog post once it's live. Big thanks to Lindsay from Ellie Mac Patterns for giving you guys 10% off. You want to head on over and subscribe to my blog newsletter to get that 10% off coupon. Thanks for watching.